Tape measures, very helpful tool, but do you actually know how to use them? Do you know that there's a reason for this little bit of play in the end? Did you know that they tell you exactly how wide this is and you can always know? And did you know that you always can know how many feet and inches it is just by glancing at it? Today is the beginner's master class on tape measures. Let's do it. A tape measure is probably the most commonly used tool. Everybody has one in their toolbox at home, and almost all blue-collar industries use one at some point. So you should definitely know how to use this. To start, this slop that's at the end of your tape measure is often complained about as making cuts inaccurate, but they actually added that on purpose. Let me show you. So you have a board, you want to measure it, you pull your tape measure across, you put a mark, and then call it a day. But you have this little bit of slop that is often said to cause inaccuracy in your markings, but that's simply not true. That slop has a reason for being there. If we were to say that there is a board on the end of this, like you're measuring in between two studs on a wall, that slop is designed to account for the thickness of the hook on your tape measure. So now we're gonna go ahead and push it up against this, and then we're gonna make a mark at the same measurement still, and you will notice both marks are perfectly in line with each other. This slop merely accounts for whether you are pulling at the edge of a board or whether you are butting up against a board, and it changes because of that thickness of the hook. If you ever think that your tape measure is inaccurate because of this, then think again, because that's actually helping you get more accurate cuts. A method often referred to as the burn an inch method is where you hold the tape measure out at the 1 inch mark just by eyeballing it and lining it up over here, and then you can come over and you take whatever measurement you wanted to put on and you add 1 inch to it. They are all in line. Now my Sharpie kind of varied, but they're all perfectly in line. Now let's say you're measuring in a tight space where you can't exactly just go like this. The tape measure, if you push it out on both ends up against so that it's tight in there. You take your measurement from right here. I'm reading at 19 and 9/16. And then we take this number that you may not be able to read right there, but it says 3 and 1/8. Now we take the 3 and 1/8 plus the 19 and 9/16, and that gets us 22 and 11/16. So now let's check that out. If we double check our measurement, 22 and 11/16. So that is what this measurement is for. That is the actual width of your tape measure. Sometimes it'll be up here, sometimes it'll be down on the bottom. You'll find it in various places, but that is what that number is for. And lastly, the markings. So we have all of our numbers, and then you have it in 1/8, 1/4, and 1/16 measurements. Some tape measures have 30 seconds, mine does not. But then you come out here, and every 12 inches, it marks it at a foot. So it says 1 foot, 12 inches. So if we come further out to 2 feet, it'll say 2 foot, 24 inches. These little red numbers up at the top make it super easy to look and say 18 inches, well, that's 1 foot, 6 inches. Or 29 inches, that's 2 foot, 5 inches. So that makes it super easy just at a glance to know exactly how many feet and inches you're measuring. Now for the color coding. 16 is marked off in red. If we come further out, 32 is marked off in red, 48 is. Those are your standard spacing for wall studs in housing. Now this changes throughout time, so some houses are not made with that, but standard is 16 inches on center. So if you were to measure from the center of one stud to the center of the other stud, it'll be 16 inches. Now another common one is 19 and 3/16. That's kind of a pain to calculate, so they saved you the work. If you look at this tape measure, right here on 19 and 3/16 is a little black diamond. Now if we keep scrolling out, we have another diamond at 38 and 3/8. And if we keep scrolling out, you'll find another one, and it continues on. That is a very standard floor joist spacing. So 19 and 3/16 on center for each floor joist. That's a very standardized one, especially nowadays. They're even using that in some wall measurements. But if you're ever doing like a DIY project hanging a shelf or something, it's pretty likely that if you can find one stud, measure out to the next stud, it will be on the 16-inch mark. And again, they're all marked in red so that you know very easily and very quickly where studs will be. So that is how to use a tape measure. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helped. Bye.